Hi guys, today we're gonna be continuing our playthrough of Andromeda 6. It's an amazing game so far. I really like it. It's not really a game, it's more of a visual novel because I'm just clicking and making choices every like 20 minutes. So I wouldn't even say it's a game, and the developers actually don't say that it's a game as well. And last time we ended it on a bit of a cliffhanger. We actually met a new character. His name is Bash, and he was I think he's like the engineer, and he has this bionic arm, and his tattoos are very like beautiful, intricate, and he's so far the most energetic and the most like full of life from all of the other characters. And we also met Damon, which of course his name is Damon, who is the sort of mysterious assassin. They call him an assassin. I'm not sure if he really is or if Bash was just like playing around with us, but yeah. And I think that somebody has a crush on Bash, so I'm not too sure if we should be flirting with him, because I don't want to ruin like anyone's like relationship, you know. And we did start to flirt with June at first, and then we did flirt a little bit with Bash, but yeah, I think we're gonna just try to romance as much as possible, because that's kind of the point of the game. Not that I wouldn't do that in real life, but yeah, that's generally the point of the game. And we did end on a cliffhanger, which was meeting Damon, who was very edgy, and we did hear arguing, so there was a lot of ruckus at the back of the ship, and it was coming towards us, so maybe it was regarding us as a character, but I'm not sure. So let's see, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So everyone I've met so far has been welcoming in their own way, but this man Damon, Bash called him, feels anything but. My eyes flick to the side, and I know even before I see that he's watching me. Introduce myself to the others and hang back. Of course I'm gonna introduce myself. Hesitant to be caught on the web of whatever Damon is, I decided to introduce myself to the others and find out exactly what all the commotion is about. Could it have something to do with the hole in the cargo hold Bash and I saw earlier? Oh yeah, of course we did see a hole in the wall of the cargo hold, which is actually very dangerous. When you're in space and in a spaceship, there should be nothing that makes the spaceship exposed in any way. No holes. It could be like a little puncture, but it should not happen. Definitely not. Why? Because you're gonna get vacuumed out of there, and your oxygen is gonna end, and you're just gonna have a really bad time. Yeah. So, could it have something to do with the hole in the cargo hold? Probably. And whatever it is, I'm determined to find answers on what the hell is going on around here and where I fit into it. I take a deep breath followed by a step, only to falter at the sound of a raspy voice beside me. Looks like our little stowaway has lost more than just her memory. You would be pretty stupid to interrupt that conversation. Oh. After almost tripping on my own feet and righting myself at the last moment, I turn to stare at Damon wide-eyed. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Oh my god, this is so cringy. It really is. He grins at me, white and wolfish, before flickering heavy-lidded eyes towards something over my shoulders. Or maybe that goddamn lizard did. I can't believe they let that cowboy keep that disgusting thing, but when I try to bring a cat aboard, they act like I've committed treason. Damon pauses for a moment, and I find him having a hard time deciphering exactly who he's speaking to. Granted, it was an Nolaxian snow tiger, but I failed to see the difference. Still a fuzzy little thing, even had big doe eyes. Kind of like you. Oh, so he is flirting with us, so maybe he likes us. So far, everyone on this ship really likes us, and they wanna, you know, maybe kiss us or, you know, be in a relationship. But yeah, my face flushes with heat, and I know that he knows he's getting to me by the way his lips curl even higher. His amusement seems short-lived, however, as he clicks his tongue, eyes going dark, pupils blown wide. Preposterous. I blink at him, dumbfounded, and he grins, revealing straight white teeth that glint through the dimness surrounding us. I'm beginning to have serious doubts about the whole assassin thing, until the glint of tarnished metal catches my eye, and I glance warily at the blade balancing idly between his deft fingers. And I'm sure you like what you see, but it's rude to stare. Okay. Glare and say I'm not staring. I'm trying to decipher why exactly you think you can try to intimidate me. Oh my god. Try, huh? Keep telling yourself that, sweetheart. I could see your knees knocking from a mile away. Okay. He takes a step towards me, staring me down through cerulean eyes, chin tilted high. And besides, I think intimidated isn't the only thing I'm making you feel. Okay. Oh my god. No. Oh my god. I'm starting to get the feeling that this game is gonna get a little like R-rated, which I don't know if something like that happens. I'm just gonna have to blur everything on the screen because that's not allowed on YouTube, and oh my god, I don't know. So my jaw clenches tight, my eyes narrow into utterly unimpressed slits as they drag over him. Who does this guy think he is? And are you always such a ding-dong? Okay, always. But for what it's worth, I was only trying to help. I didn't think you would want to face the wrath of our dear captain on your first day aboard. Not if you want to keep that pretty head attached to that pretty neck. And the scoff that escapes me is dark and deliberate. You call that being helpful? And shrugging, his eyes glaze over with a certain disdain as he watches the group arguing nearby, as if they were nothing more than a mere speck on his radar. Whatever works. And I start to roll my eyes before thinking better of it. Whatever Damon is, assassin or not, I'm not sure I want to end up on the wrong side of him. Yeah, we shouldn't argue with him. And regardless of how I feel about his help, when the argument between the crew seems to come to a boiling point, I'm almost glad he stopped me. It was most likely a bad idea to join in on them after all. And he says, "You're welcome. I wasn't thanking you." Damon laughs, a low, dangerous sound that seems made of shadows all of itself. When he cocks an eyebrow at me, I almost consider running headfirst into the commotion after all. I can tell people are lying, you know. Some would call it a talent, and some would not. My eyes go wide at this admission. I'm sorry. Okay. So my eyes go wide at this admission, nostrils flaring with unease. It's a gift being able to read people, what they're thinking, what they desire. Are you talking about telepathy? His smug expression falters, and I would have felt triumphant had I not been busy internally debating if he was actually capable of such a thing. Not that there's anything in my mind to worry about him finding, it's just privacy, you know? He clicks his tongue at me impatiently, disappointed that I would even ask such a question. Don't be ridiculous, there's no such thing. It's just something I'm good at, reading people, figuring out what makes them tick. Telepathy? BS. I call it a life skill, an invaluable one at that. Damon folds his arms over his chest, and that infuriating half-cocked grin sliding onto his lips once again. And how is that a life gives someone that skill? Now that's none of your business, is it? I realize quickly that despite the tilt of his lips, there's something strange about his eyes, something cold and calculated. My mouth goes dry, stomach churning with unease, and as much as I try, I can't look away. Hard sapphire eyes spin me down, as sharply honed as the blades I'd seen him balance on deft fingers, now sheathed and conveniently close at hand. I feel exposed beneath his gaze, as predictable as an open book and so vulnerable that I can't even read what's written on my own pages. I tear my eyes, what's that word? Only, oh my god, I'm really sorry, I'm again without my glasses, because I'm filming this like right after I filmed the previous video, so I tear my eyes away only when he cocks his head towards the group in the middle of the room, his ears perked and trained on their whispered words. I felt a weakness in myself earlier with June, a weakness in limbs that had been unused for far too long, but now they tremble in relief as the weight of Damon's stare leaves me. When my eyes drift over to him again, his mind seems far away. I find myself wondering what kind of thoughts plague his mind and what memories are racing through it to make him seem so guarded. Okay. Shaking my head to clear it, it's best to quit asking questions I'm sure he has no intention of answering. And I turn to leave, thoroughly done with this conversation and the way Damon's mood chops and changes as quickly as the view from the cockpit. Oh, what are you doing? A silky voice stops me in my tracks, and when I look at Damon, it's to find him studying me curiously, as if I were a specimen in a laboratory. Yeah, in this light he's very pretty actually. I mean, they purposely made all of these characters very beautiful because it's obviously a dating game and you have to be able to feel some sort of like pleasing feeling when you look at them. And I'm saying that I'm going back to my room, and Damon says, but we've only just started to have fun. You know what else I'm good at? Finding out what people want, what they really want. Okay. And he pushes himself away from the wall, stepping towards me with an unnatural feline grace. So tell me, Kiki, what is it that you truly desire? His voice still holds what seems to be a perpetually snarky undertone, but when he asks me that, I don't know. Damon narrows his cold eyes, the look in them clearly unsatisfied with my answer. And everyone wants something. It's usually dark, twisted, and secretive, but it's what makes us who we are. I have no idea what I want. Liar. I'll find out what it is sooner or later. His hooded eyes... Okay, sorry about that, my camera gave away once again, because 12 minutes, remember? And yeah, so being near Damon feels like being stuck between both ends of a magnet. He pushes you away, only to reel you back in again with the same fiery intensity. It's maddening, exhilarating, and maybe more than just a little terrifying. And I'm still struggling against the ocean of bewilderment he's drowning me in, desperately fighting to keep my head above water when his cool fingers grab my chin, tilting my face towards him. I'm always up for a challenge. I do hope you don't disappoint. I swallow thickly. What? What is that wording? I swallow thickly. Okay. Knowing I'm being lured into one of his traps, yet unable to keep the roguish grin from tugging at my lips. I don't miss the way his tongue flicks over his bottom lips, or how his pupils blow wide when those cold eyes hover over my lips, slowly dragging over my features with practiced ease. He squeezes my chin, just once, before he drops his hand and relinquishes his hold. My skin burns from the contact, the ghost of his touch lingering a few moments longer, and I find myself quite unable to move, to breathe, or to do anything other than stand here dumbly and pretend that my insides don't feel like they're slowly but surely caving inwards. Eventually, I clear my throat, awkwardly willing my lips to loosen, and Damon chuckles at my attempts to compose myself, his eyes gleaming with the prospect of a challenge. I'm still lost in the moment when footsteps approach, heavy-set and clipped, and a gruff voice calls towards us. Oh, this must be the captain. Reznor. Damon rolls his eyes, his lips curling into a smirk as he winks at me, blue eyes glinting with amusement. He steps back slowly, one foot behind the other, and sliding his hands into his pockets, he turns a S-eating grin spread across his handsome face. Yes, dear? Is this really the time to be messing around? Damon gasps, holding a hand to his chest in mock offense. Messing around? Me? Why, Commander, I could never! You guys looked so cozy over there, and you know, I would never want to intrude. The commander inhales sharply, shutting his eyes and pinching the bridge of his nose in clear annoyance. Why are you... He stops, fixing Damon with a dark stare, one that says, don't F with me, among other things. And you know what? This isn't the time for your BS, Damon. I need you to go and do your thing, and tell Bash to get Oppo on the line. We'll be paying a visit. Who is Oppo? Yes, sir. And Damon gives a mock salute, pulling on a pair of black leather gloves and looking thoroughly unimpressed at being interrupted. He turns back before he leaves the bridge, sparing a single glance over his shoulder. Don't wait up for me. Okay, I'm not sure which one of us he was speaking to, and in the end I decided I would rather not know. With a thick swallow, once again, those thick swallows, what are those thick swallows? Please explain to me. Okay, so I turn back to the other man, steeling myself against the wrath Damon so generously invoked in him. Damon was unnerving in his own kind of way, but this man is downright terrifying. Tall, rigid, with a scowl so intimidating it makes my blood run cold. It looks like the warm welcome ended with bash. Okay. What are you doing here? Folding his arms over his broad chest, he stares me down, and I try my hardest not to shrink under his glacial glare. Excuse me? He lets out an exasperated huff of air, his sharp jaw tensing with his frustration. Look, I don't have the time to babysit a stowaway. Do us all a favor and keep off the bridge, will you? Okay. And I am going to ask him, what else am I supposed to do? And he says, that is not my problem. June was the one who brought you aboard. Why don't you go and bother him? What? I'm sorry, did I not make myself clear? Stay out of my way. I blink at him stupidly, attempting to contemplate how exactly one man can be so obnoxious. Which, of course, he is, yeah. But I mean, he's the captain, so he has to be a little bit bossy, if you would like, yeah. Play nice now, Calderon. My eyes flick up over him involuntarily. Oh, I think this is the other girl. He has the look of a soldier, strong jaw, stiff back. Stick up his A with about a mile long. And Calderon. Okay, so that's his name, Calderon. Look, I really don't have the time for... What's her name? Ayame? I'm not sure. Ayame, maybe. Get the goddamn ship on course. We are not stopping by the Kittlefan ruins. I don't give an S what time of year it is. The woman barks something at him and I back away slowly, thinking it's probably best to keep out of his way after all. I have barely made it 3 steps before he turns, sapphire eyes landing on me and a cold stare freezing me in place. You're from Goldless. The way he says it isn't a question, but it catches me off guard nonetheless. What? That's where we picked you up, right? Right. So tell me, do you really think this new guy in power, Zovak, is going to be any better than the greedy son of a, before him? A flash of anger passes over his features so quickly I could have missed it if I wasn't looking closely. My eyebrows knit together, confused. Maybe Rayona was mistaken about my accident. I feel less like I've taken a blow to the head and more like I've been dropped into another galaxy entirely. I don't know. He sneers at me, his lips curled cruelly, and immediately I know I've struck a nerve. You don't know? Is that what all you Goldians wanted? An effing liberator? Back off, Captain, says Ayami. The woman, Ayami, warns him, her voice low but with enough venom coating it to be threatening. Calderon snorts, ignoring her. How do I know you're not one of his lackeys? Maybe his whole memory loss ploy was a way to get on the ship. You think I want this? To not know who I am? Who knows what you'd say to worm your way into my crew? He takes a step towards me, and it's so intimidating that it takes everything I have to not move a muscle. You're unbelievable. And you're becoming a pain in my A, so I'm going to ask you one last time. He points a finger at me, and I resist the urge to shove it right away. Are you working for Jess Zovak? Are you always such a D? And I would say, I'm not sure, maybe who. And so I'm gonna say who. And he closes his eyes and pinches the bridge of his nose tight, and I can almost see whatever shred of patience he has left wither and die. I don't know what else he expected me to say. I have no idea who this Zovak is. What the hell are you doing on my ship? Your guess is as good as mine. And it sounds to me like I need to have a word with June about picking up strays. My chest heaves with anger, but hold my tongue. He's the captain after all, even if his manners leave much to be desired. Know this, until we reach our destination, all eyes will be on you. Are you always this paranoid? Paranoia is the least of my worries. Zovak is not a man to be trifled with. If you don't like him, then maybe he's not so bad. It takes only a second to know that this was the wrong thing to say. His lips curl back from his teeth, revealing a scowl so venomous my eyes widen. Not so bad? You think murder and deceit and radicalism are not so bad? His growl echoes straight through me, and I hail sharply, meeting him head on. Zovak, the bastard who forced the Crown Council to name him king. but not before killing the entire royal family. Think about that, will you? King Fenris, the 3 queens, and their 11 children murdered. His eyes are blazing, the fury made obvious by the growl in his voice and the flush of his skin. Now, how about you tell me again how he's not so bad? Oh, and this is Amy. I think I'm gonna call her Amy. Amy. I'm not sure. That name is something that doesn't actually exist, so Ayami. Maybe Ayami I'll call her. For F's sake, Calderon, have you really got to be a raging? Oh my god. I'm sorry about that. I cannot see anything and my laptop is like 15 inches away from me and I can still not see anything, so have you really got to be a raging a-hole 98% of the time? She grabs Calderon by the arm, hoisting him back a step while she glares at him. She's not responsible for the mess we're in. He fixes her with an equally hard stare, the tension between them palpable as he grits out from between clenched teeth. Set the course, now. Okay, let me just drink from my water again. And, yeah. She merely rolls her eyes at him, storming back to the cockpit controls. So I think she's the pilot. Or one of the pilots, actually. So the confusion must show on my face because when he turns to me again, he lets out a defeated sigh, rubbing a hand over his face tiredly. You really don't remember anything? His voice is surprisingly gentle now, and I shake my head, unable to tear my gaze away from his. There's something about those eyes. Calderon's got a wall around him about a mile high, that much is obvious, but every now and then there's a flicker of something. If I didn't know better, I would say it was sadness. And he inhales sharply, the red flush of anger melting away as he waves a dismissive hand at me. Whatever, I've got things to do. Head back to your room, I'll have someone check on you later. I let out an impatient sigh, and I would either walk away or provoke him or agree, which, of course, I'm gonna flirt with him. Yeah, I'm gonna flirt. I'm still reeling after this confrontation, but there isn't any point in prolonging the argument. It's clear this man is as stubborn as a mule. And I would say fine. He grins, and even though it's still intimidating as hell, there's something handsome about it. It catches me off guard, and for a moment I struggle to right myself. Catches me off guard, and for a moment I struggle to right myself. So you do have a lick of common sense after all. Until then, unless you can do something useful, which I highly doubt, stay out of the way. He turns to leave the room, but not before giving me another once-over, sizing me up. I stand there dumbly, watching the captain leave the bridge, his heavy-set footsteps disappearing underneath the hiss of the closing door. And this is Ayami. Sorry about him, it isn't personal if it helps. And I would say you don't need to apologize, or it's okay. I would say it's okay. With a sigh, I tear my eyes from the door, letting my annoyance out in a slow exhale. It's okay, not your fault. And wow, she's very cute. We're definitely gonna flirt with her. She's so cute. And the purple really suits her skin tone. I really like that kind of color. Purple with the blue, it's so beautiful. So, really don't mind him. He's got issues, that one. But then again, so does the rest of us, I suppose. At least the rest of them didn't call me useless, but I'm not going to dwell on it. I have enough problems on my plate, and despite one, or rather 2 bad eggs, I've been welcomed on this ship well enough. I'm just surprised at how easy you scared him off. What's the secret? She lets out a laugh, a light tinkle of a sound that has me crooking an eyebrow curiously. She makes it seem so easy standing up to a guy almost twice her size, and I can't help but feel it would be a useful skill to learn. Oh, it sure would be. Just tell him to get lost. Oh, I'm sorry, I spit out. Just tell him to get lost and pull him down from his high horse. It's easy to get caught up in his bad attitude. Which is understandable. And I can't help but wonder exactly at the nature of the relationship with the captain and her, and they seem pretty close after all. The last thing I want is to pry, so perhaps an indirect approach would be best. Or maybe I shouldn't ask her at all. Why would she disclose her personal life to a stranger? I can hear the links of that brain of yours struggling from here. If you want to ask me something, go ahead. I won't bite. Unless you want me to. There we go again. She continues the trend of like every single character being in love with us or trying to flirt with us. She had the last part with a wink, catching me off guard with her boldness. Ask her? Of course I'm gonna ask, yeah. It's not a big deal really. I was just wondering if, you and the captain look close. Are you two... Allowing my voice to draw out, it's almost funny to watch how her expression shifts from the careless confidence into one of utter disbelief. Well, we wanted to know if we are a thing. With a laugh bordering hysterical, she runs a hand through her hair, drawing my attention to her face. I glance over the gear attached to the side of her head. It looks advanced, amazingly so. But what really catches my eye are the thin gills on the sides of her neck, moving ever so slightly with each breath she takes. I think she's the one that Bash told us about. She's able to live both on land and in water, and he wanted to make a water tank for her so she can be there, you know, because she's like a mermaid or something. But yeah, aqui tá fun. We're definitely not a couple. Never. Ew, gross. She makes a gagging sound before she turns back on me with a crooked grin. Completely unfazed. He's more like a lame older brother. We've looked out for each other for as long as I can remember. That makes more sense actually, and I feel a little foolish at having thought otherwise at all. Hang on, you asked me if I'm single before getting my name? And the way they say, I'm the bold one. Oh, she's so pretty in this light as well. The grin on her face is so wide it makes her eyes almost as thin as her gills. I open my mouth to protest, only to realize there is no argument. I did ask her relationship status before her name. This is awkward. I am Ayame, and the other who keeps his steel tub on the course is yours truly. But please call me Aya. Ayame just sounds so Calderon, don't you think? Yeah, Aya, that's cute. And she talks so fast there's barely enough time for me to process the information, but I find that I like that, And of course we're gonna blur. We're gonna flirt with her. My lips curl slowly into a crooked smile, though I'm not quite sure where the confidence is coming from. Perhaps it's simply Aya rubbing off on me. You could say I have my priorities in order. It's her turn to flush, and I struggle against the urge to chuckle with her eyebrows when her eyebrows shoot upwards and her lips turn to a perfect O. Besides, you don't need a name to be memorable, even if it's a beautiful one, Aya. Okay, did not see that coming. My shoulders shake with the urge to have to tease her further, giggling at the expression she's making. The furious blush that takes over her cheeks is only slightly less amusing than the look of pure confusion on her face. She led me to believe she's the bold one in the spaceship, but she's certainly not used to handling someone who meets her head on. I guess Aya squeezes her eyes shut and shakes her head furiously, trying to wipe the blush from her face. It's good to see her success is only partial. Well done, Kiki. I can't remember the last time someone caught me off guard like that. I may have a gift. It won't be easy the next time, amigo. I shrugged, trying not to let on how interested I may be testing that particular theory. Thinking about that, however, brings back the memory of the captain and his ultimatum. The smile on my face fades as I remember, and I can't quite explain why. I hardly know these people, but somehow the thought of being alone in the state I am is somehow terrifying. Hey, what killed your mood? Did you remember something shitty about your past? I wish. Shaking my head, I release my eyes to meet hers, taking in her subtle concern. No, I'm just not sure how much longer I'll be around. Why is that? You got someplace to go? Well, not particularly, but the captain said you're dropping me off in Terranium when we arrive. Aya's eyebrows almost disappear beneath her hair as she stares at me, a mixture of shock and anger clouding her features. What the? He said he's dropping you off in Terranium? Terranium. Yeah, it's your next stop, isn't it? It's my turn to look confused. I'm pretty sure that's what he said, but I couldn't have mistaken the name like that. It is, but... Do you know anyone in Terranium? Got any place to go? Any plans? I keep shaking my head at her questions, one after the other. My past is still a blur, and these people are the only ones I remember knowing, and somehow I think I've gotten a little attached. Okay. With an exasperated huff, Aya throws her hands in the air and starts pacing in front of me. Is he out of his freaking mind? No, he must have completely lost it now. Biting my lip, I hold her by the arm to stop her from burning a hole in the floor with the intensity of her pacing. It's okay. I can take care of myself. I'll just ask around, get a job or something to keep me going while I try to get my life in order. It's fine, really. The last thing I want is to cause trouble for one of the few people who's been so kind to me. And I think we're gonna end it here. It's not really a cliffhanger, but it is kind of because we have no idea what's gonna happen to us. First of all, the captain told us that he's gonna just drop us off at some planet, and now we're seeing that actually Aya, who is a crew member, she is completely averse to that. So yeah, we'll see how the game continues next time, and I really appreciate that you joined me on this little adventure. So please subscribe and leave a comment and like the video if you like. So yeah, bye bye. See you in the next one.